watching over the last few years?
Whose game?
About Bam's.
Bam's. I think that he's just like your kind of your prototypical player that every team needs. He's like kind of the glue that does all the work. He works hard, doesn't require a lot of maintenance, and doesn't really need the ball to be successful in a team game. And those guys are a lot harder to find than it is, guys that require the ball or require attention.
And to have him break the double-doubles record, do you feel good about someone with his work ethic and quality being the one to break your record tonight or at some point?
I think that when I set that record, I never thought that it's going to come this far, right? So to me, it's a blessing that I've been able to carry it this far with all the great players that have played in this organization. It didn't really come to my mind till Eric Reed brought it up. I really thought that that record had been broken in the past. I just didn't know any better. And then I started looking at more of the numbers, and I'm still holding some other numbers. And I'm telling you, like for somebody that came here early on and as the first player picked in this franchise to still be holding records with the pedigree of talent that has come through this organization is just, I'm really blessed. I mean, I'm really, really blessed. And thankfully, I'm alive to see it, basically, Like, usually you're long gone, so...
Rony, welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm curious, I'd love to hear your perspective on not just the modern game, but if you could think about what would you have had to change in your game playing today, and then vice versa with Bam, what would he have had to change playing in your day?
You would basically have to flip-flop how I used to play and the way he plays. I was more back to the basket kind of guy. I think that the game has changed so much, and I think that I really miss seeing back to the basket players and not necessarily guards posting up, but that more established kind of like, your point guard's got his job, the shooting guard's got his job. Everybody had like a role to play. And I feel that today's game is so interchangeable. Everybody does everything. But it doesn't somehow, in the old game, there was rivalries amongst the players because the power forwards and the centers and the point guards are just like one-on-one. It's just like, I mean, listen, I'm biased to the 90s, obviously. I'm biased to that era because I just, it's when I played and I saw it firsthand, and I saw how hard and how tough it was to play in that era. I mean, I'll never forget playing against the Pistons or whoever it is. They invite you to drive to the basket so they can take your head off. And then you'll have to think twice about getting in the lane again. So in Bam's situation, he would have been a great power forward in my time. He reminds me a little bit of a Horace Grant. He's got that jumper by the foul line. He's just somehow he would have been great as a rebounder with me, and we'd have made great teammates actually. So it's exactly we play the opposite game. He wants to play more of a face-up game, and I like to play with my back to the basket.
What were your favorite memories of playing down here in front of Miami fans and for the Heat?
I think that the most, we were kind of like an extended family to the fans that used to come here because we were the babies. We came here and we needed a lot of help and support. So home court advantage was critical for us. An expansion team always has its growing pains, and I think that I think we were the first team to make it into the playoffs within the first 4 years. And thanks to the fans and for people believing in us and for us playing hard as we did and setting the tone. So it felt like coming in and playing in front of fans that knew exactly who every player was, and it was more of I don't know, it's like a real fan base of the team and the players themselves. I think there's so many interchangeable parts now, and so many people come and go, and the days of Bird and McHale and those guys, running the Celtics for years and years and years. This is more the kind of the basketball that I miss watching is our teams that have built these teams. I would say Golden State, if they had kept that team together, and then you have a couple of more teams like that. Karl Malone, John Stockton, those guys, Michael and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and the Pistons with Isaiah, and just every team had those kind of players that everybody remembers. And I feel in today's game, it's just like everybody shares you have that one glaring superstar, and then you've got the other guys around them that not a lot of people know about.
You and Bam recently met one another.
Yes.
How would you describe that interaction?
It was amazing to meet him. First of all, I mean, I watched him play in the Olympics this past summer, and I admired the hustle and the grit and everything that he brings to the game. And meeting him in person, he's a lot bigger than I thought. And I haven't been around tall people for a while now, so I think that he's a great character, a great person, very humble, everything you like to see in an athlete. He's real.
For you, what nostalgia did you feel walking through the arena and being around the team, and as well as watching the game, how much more international it is? How's it seeing it while you were kind of a pioneer, you played at Syracuse?
Walking into the stadium is definitely very, very. It's a weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling because there's just so much pressure and blood and tears and sweat and all the things that injuries and being hurt and things that I could never imagine doing today. So to me, I walk into this building and I think to myself, how was I part of this? Like, I really don't understand, because now as you get older, you start thinking about, the knees and the back and everything that, the injuries and stuff like that, and just the pressure of playing in front of people and making mistakes. And it's a bittersweet feeling. I feel like I'm the most grateful guy for having this experience, but now I look back and say, wow, I couldn't do it again.
We know about your successful ventures into music after your playing career. What's kept you busy off the court, obviously, in recent years?
I always thought that basketball was a temporary thing. I always used to think, like, I'm one injury away from having to figure out what's next. And I wanted to speed up that process while I was playing, and always thought to myself, what do I want to do when this is over? If I have a great career and I play as, 10, 15 years or whatever it is, I'm still going to be in my 30s. So what am I going to do for the next 50 or 60 years? And how am I going to be able to motivate myself to go back out and recreate myself and be something that I can kind of like hang my hat on for the rest of my life. And something that's always stuck with me was real estate. So I did all the homework and all the studying and everything you could possibly do about investing. And I never wanted other people to kind of make money for me. I wanted to learn a way to make money myself. So it was just in my fabric. It was something innate, and I always thought to myself, I want to be more successful and make more money than I did playing basketball, because I don't want my lifestyle to change from the days of basketball.
And are you splitting your time now between South Florida and overseas? Where now do you practice?
Home is Miami. It's always been Miami, and I spend at least 6-7 months a year in Miami, and then the rest is usually on a plane traveling somewhere.
You had your 34 rebound game, like a while ago, of course, but it was against the Wizards, who they play tonight. So, what are your memories of playing in that game? Like, it just takes a lot to have a game like that.
Honestly, like, it was one of those incredible nights where, as a professional athlete, when the game slows down for the player, like the rim gets bigger. For me, on that night, I just somehow the whole game slowed down, and I can see as soon as a person shoots it where the ball's going to end up. So it's all about positioning. So the rebounds look easy. Yeah, they're easy, but you got to calculate where the ball's going to end up, and you got to make sure that you get into position where you get into that area where the ball is going to be. And I just had what Steve and Eric Reed, I had that Spalding diet. I just wanted to get every single ball I could possibly get my hands on. And I was just in such a flow, and I was just getting to the ball. And these are moments that that I remember for the rest of my life, because it's just you're playing against the best players in the world, but somehow the game is, as fast as it is, it's in slow motion to you. It's almost like you're seeing stuff happen before it happens. So, and that's one of those nights that I was grateful to have. And 34 rebounds. I'm not sure if somebody has broken that record in the NBA period, but I got pulled out of the game with 6-7 minutes left, so I could have ended up with 38, 39. So
I think it was 35.
it was 35, right? It was, yeah. So I could have said it. I could have said it way out there if I had stayed in the game.
Anything else, guys? We're good. Quick question. What do you think of, for you, international prospects back in your day compared to how good international prospects are today? What's the difference in your eyes between then and now?
Well, first, I mean, remember that I was one of the very, very first internationally born players to kind of break through into the NBA, and a lot of people don't realize basketball was an inner city sport. So to be a white guy that breaks into the sport was already like something special. But for an international guy to break in was almost impossible. So. But what happened is that the game, I just feel like the game here was very athletic, and the game over there is very IQ based. And what's happened is it's kind of meshed in, where the players are, playing kind of European brand basketball, where you're making that extra pass, and your IQ is just a lot better, because you're not athletically gifted and can't take on 5 players, right? So I think as the players here got smarter and the players there got more athletic, it kind of got into a place where it's good for people are. It's a lot easier. The entry is a lot easier if you could get those two things going.